Okay. Okay. Hi. Welcome to the second take of my Rami Malek presentation. Yeah, I gotta be a little bit speedy with this one. So, yep. Here is my favorite picture of Rami Malek in the background. And 2022 me is so proud because, she was down bad for him. So, now I'm making this in honor of her. And in honor of me. Because I'm still down bad. Okay, so here's movie and TV shows. I kind of did that first because, it's less fun than the characters, but I put Blackberry there just in honor of his new album, and my phone kind of mixed up one of Rami Malek's characters in Salim from House of Ashes, so it was a little bit weird. So I decided to put that on there just to kind of expose Google, cancel Google. So, at number 17, the worst movie that I listed on here that I actually watched, fully all the way through, is Buster's Malheart. It was just so weird. It's about Buster, he works in night shift, and he has a wife and a kid. So, he basically, kind of struggles to keep up until eventually he kind of, gets insane, and he goes on the internet, and he finds out about this weird conspiracy theory about, the world ending. So he, goes on, it's like you have to get to the center of the earth before the world ends, then you'll survive. Or something, or maybe he just, I don't know, I don't really remember what happens there, but yeah, he basically travels across the world to freaking go to this random place, and he gets a beard, and he just looks awful, and I don't know, it just kind of did him bad. I don't know. I wasn't a fan, honestly. At number 16, we have Alcatraz. He was in one singular episode. I had to watch it online illegally, you know how it is sometimes. I was not about to make my mom pay money to watch this entire series when I literally just wanted to see one person in it. But yeah, I can't really say much about it, but it seemed extremely interesting. That's why it's above Buster's Malheart. And yeah, that's just, Lucy had an Alcatraz phase, and my friends used to play it, and it would just be I don't even remember what the theme was. I don't know what they did, but yeah, it was an interesting one. I'll tell you more about the character that he played and everything later, but it was a good one, and it's kind of aesthetically pleasing. Yes, you deserve murderers. So at number 15, I put Doolittle, and I honestly feel it might be below freaking the other two at this point, because now that I think about it, they whitewashed Dr. Doolittle, and they did it with Robert Downey Jr. Why would you do it with Robert Downey Jr. out of everyone? It's just such a downgrade. It's such a downgrade, and they had the technology to make it so good, and they had the actors to make it so good, and they flopped. It flopped so bad. They could have just done so much better. But the animals are cool. Super Pets was better, though, because it doesn't have Robert Downey Jr. in it. But yeah, just look at this cast. It's insane. They got Tom Holland. They got Selena Gomez. They got Emma Thompson. She was in The Office. They got Octavia Spencer. They got Rami Malek. Craig Robinson was also in The Office. John Cena. And you might recognize some other ones. I can't really, name what they're from, but... At number 14, I put The War at Home. It's just, a sitcom kind of thing. I don't really know what, the theme of the show even is exactly. But there's definitely a war at home, that's for sure. Yeah, I think it might just be a slice of life, And yeah, that's the dad from Atypical, so. And he has not aged in the past 10 years. This one's kind of old, then Atypical is fairly new, and he looks the exact same. So I literally questioned, is this show newer? I don't know. But yeah, it's iconic that he's in both of those. It's really random. And yeah, but when I saw it, it was a pretty good show. The clips that I saw were pretty funny. And I don't know, I would watch it if I were really bored one day. At number 13, I put The Little Things. This poster is just insane. I just love this poster for some reason. It's just so pretty. And, you can just see the three main characters. Just the fact that Rami Malek is one of, the main characters was just, kind of sentimental for me. I don't know why. Like, just when this poster first came out, I was like, dude, you've made it. You are there with Denzel Washington and Jared Leto. And it's just so cool. Like, you can just see all their, like, just whatever those are called. I forgot what it's called. Just, like, the figures. I don't know. And it's awesome. I can't remember much about the movie itself, though. That's kind of why it's down so low. I'll have to rewatch it eventually. But it's kind of a detective one, so I don't really like detective movies very much. But yeah, the poster is different, though. At 12, I have Need for Speed. It's just, I just put it, like, barely above the little things, just because I like the racing movies more than the detective ones. I don't know why, I just like the adrenaline more, there's just more going on. I can't remember anything from this movie, like, literally nothing, except for this one part where they kind of quit racing for a little bit, then at one point, this Walmart Jeff Winger is just like, he calls Rami Malek's character, and he's like, hey, we're gonna do a new race, and Rami Malek's just, like, kind of got an office job, he just joined the office, because he's like, alright, well, we're screwed, I need money. And he gets that call, and he starts taking off his clothes. He's like, yeah, we're back in it. So he takes off his clothes in the office, and he kisses this random girl. And then he goes in the elevator with this grandma, and he's like, hey, do you feel like you're dying inside? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, okay. And he goes out, and he hugs this dude, this Walmart Jeff Winger, like, naked. And he's like, hey, did you miss this? That is all I remember. That's all I remember from this movie. But it was good. It was good from what I remembered. It's a knockoff of a lot of things, though. It's a lot like a lot of other movies. Yeah, I probably wouldn't watch it if it weren't for Rami's character. 11, we have The Pacific. I like this one a lot more than I thought it would. I thought I just would kind of be bored the entire time, but I actually paid attention, and it was good. Like, it was really entertaining. Just seeing, I don't know, I forgot to add this one, by the way. I just had to add it, like, last night. But, yeah, I thought I was going to hate it, but it's really good. It's not as good as the rest of them, but I love it. And I put Papillon in number 10. I really forgot. It was really confusing, but it was interesting. And it has the whole Rami nudity scene. At one point, he just, like, gets kind of thrown down and doesn't have any pants on. He doesn't have any pants on, and it's really awkward. And there's just, like, one part at the beginning where these girls just have, like, no shirts on. And they're just, like, topless, and they're just dancing around. Luckily, my mom left the room for that part, but, like, dude, At number 9, I put No Time to Die. It feels like it should be up higher now that I think about it, just because it was just such a good movie, but I'm just not too into, like, movies like this usually. I would have still watched it if Rami Malek weren't in it. I just wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. But, yeah, Rami deserved this role. He did it so well. And Other 07 is hot. Look at her. She's behind Rami Malek. She's kind of near James Bond's head. She's, like, the uppermost character inside James Bond. That sounds really bad. Then we have Austin Rowe. Austin Rowe, right there near Rami, near the British girl. And, yeah, it was just really good. It was a high-quality movie. Then we have Larry Crown in number 8. I love this one a lot. It's one of my top comfort movies. I just barely watched it today. And I still just love it as much as I did the other time I watched it. But, yeah, basically Tom Hanks just has, like, he has this job at Walmart, basically. And they fire him. They're like, you know what, you haven't even gone to college. You're out of here. So he goes to college. He takes a speech class, and Julia Roberts teaches that speech class. And that's also where Rami Malek is, because he's a student in the speech class. So it's really entertaining. I kind of wish they would have focused more on, like, the speech class itself, not just because Rami Malek is in it, but, like, I just like the kind of found family dynamic thing. That's why I love Community so much. But, yeah, I was mainly just focusing on Tom Hanks' love life. He also joins, like, this gang at one part. I don't know. It was really confusing. Then number 7, we have Mr. Robot. I think I would like this one a lot more if I rewatched it now, to be honest, just because I'm older and I might understand a little bit better, and I'm just more of an appreciator of popular shows. But yeah, I remember, like, nothing from it. I just remember this one part where he took his dog out to go to the bathroom, and that's it for some reason. I have no idea why. That's the only part I remember. I think I just liked it because it was the only wholesome part. Just him taking care of his dog. He might have had a chihuahua, though, so that's kind of iconic. But, yeah, I never really knew what was going on, but the vibes were really dark and spooky. I think you would like it. And the characters in it are really cool. There's this theory I saw where, like, this person was like, oh, yeah, a lot of the characters in Mr. Robot have big eyes, and that might be because, like, they see the world differently than a bunch of other people, you know, like, they're kind of trying to, like, stop the government or whatever. So, yeah, I think you would like it, Sydney. I think you would like it a lot, actually. Then at 6, I put Twilight. It feels so unfair to put Twilight on here just because it's, like, Twilight, you know. Yeah, he wasn't in it at all either. He was in the very last movie for a little bit, but yeah, it's a good series. And I found this picture just a little bit ago. And I just thought it was insanely cool because Rami was in this movie when he was, like, tiny, you know. He was just, like, at the very start of his career. And now look at them. Now he's played Freddie Mercury and a James Bond villain. And Robert Pattinson has played, like, freaking Batman. So I think it's just really cool how they, like, kind of regrouped and they met each other and they're both clearly happy. So, and at number 5, I put Short Term 12. I love this one a lot. It's just so good. It's just got everything. It's got Rami, it's got Hot Lady / Brie Larson / Captain Marvel. It's got Mirabelle / the girl that was, she was also in Grey's Anatomy. I don't know if you know her from that. And it's got Scraggly Guy. He's just a good dude. Him and Brie Larson are, like, dating in it. It's just really cool to, like, see their dynamic and how it affects the film in itself, you know? But yeah, Short Term 12. So the people you see, except for the dude on the left, the bottom left corner, are all workers at this facility place for, like, troubled kids who just can't really go home, and because their homes just aren't safe and stuff, you know? So, yeah, Rami Malek is basically, he just joins. You don't really learn much about him as a person. He just joins. He's kind of, like, supposed to be, like, our eyes, you know, like, the audience's eyes to this brand new place. And, yeah, I think it's just really good. It's really comforting. I just remember I got home one night and I just watched it and it just made me feel a lot better. It's inspiring. There's one part where, like, so this girl comes in and her dad's, like, abusing her or whatever. Like, it's just stuff like that, you know. And Brie Larson is, like, mad about it, you know, of course. So this girl goes back to her dad's house because, like, no one believes that she's actually getting abused. And Brie Larson goes in there and she's literally ready to hit her freaking dad with a bat. It was so cool. And then they just end up breaking his car and then just going and getting her some actual help. But it was awesome. It's just a really good movie. It's solid. It's a really good movie. I would always recommend it. And this smile here just reminded me of Jessie for some reason. I think I focus on people's smiles a lot, dude. I was like, I don't know. I just have, like, I have photographic memory when it comes to smiles for some reason. But, like, it's not this picture specifically. I was so mad when I couldn't find the picture that I was thinking of, but, like, literally as soon as I saw this picture of Rami, I was like, all right, those two are, like, they just have the exact same smile in that one picture. You are going to be mind blown when you see the one that I put at the end of this slide, because, like, the slideshow, it's good. And number 4, I put Night at the Museum. It's just such a classic movie. It's just good. It's a childhood favorite. And yeah, this is just a movie I fell in love with him in, because, like, I watched Bohemian Rhapsody because I was really into Queen. I was like, Mom, I want to watch Bohemian Rhapsody because she told me about it. And for some reason I memorized his name just because maybe I just really liked him from that. I don't know. I can't really remember how I felt about him back then, but I then watched Night at the Museum and I saw his name in the credits at the very beginning and I was like, oh crap, he is literally in this. Like, what are the chances? And then I saw him and he was, like, actually cute, you know? Like, I love Bohemian Rhapsody, but he's not, like, cute. You know, he's Freddie Mercury. So you don't really simp over Freddie Mercury. But yeah, he was just actually good looking. It was so cool. It's so awesome that he was in that movie. He's just in, like, a lot of classics. But yeah, speaking of classics, The Legend of Korra at number 3. This one would definitely be at the top of the list if the other two weren't so good. The other two are just insanely good. It just didn't really stand a chance. But I just love this show a lot. You already know how much I love the show. It's just definitely one of my favorite shows ever. I still watch it a lot. It's just, like, the thing I turn on whenever I'm about to go to sleep or something. And at 2, we have Until Dawn. Just an insanely good game. Just, like, the number one game that I would recommend for anyone that's like trying to get into choice games. I definitely recommend this one. It's just, the characters are just amazing. The actual horror part is so good. Yeah, I just really like it. And it's very suspenseful. It actually has hard quick time events, but it's like not too hard. It's awesome. Then number one, I put Bohemian Rhapsody. Of course, you probably saw that coming. Yeah, it's just so iconic. It's so good. It's probably my favorite movie, to be honest. It's just, if I were a movie, I would choose this one. And it's not too accurate to the story of Freddie Mercury, exactly. But, like, it's a movie, you know? I always got mad at people who would, like, complain about that. Rami Malek also got a lot of hate for being in this one, because, like, you just can't really play Freddie Mercury and just, like, not get hate, you know? But he did an amazing job playing Freddie Mercury. Like, that's an insane character to play. I think he did a really good job. And if you're looking for the real story, just watch a documentary. There are so many. We watched one and it was just, like, really depressing. I think there's probably a reason they didn't make that in the actual movie, because that was really a bummer. Yeah, this is probably where my love of gold came from. I had a whole purple phase, too, for a while just because of this movie. Then I went right back into green. As you can see from this neon green that I chose here. But, yeah, here are all of his characters. I love this drawing. I ate this drawing up. I probably made it my lock screen for a little while. But I think it's so fun to just imagine them, like, all just running around being themselves in, like, this little imaginary world. Like, I love just, like, spotting out the characters, too. Like, you got Benjamin right there just, like, lighting the flame for Steve DiBiase in his little vampire costume. You got Snafu right there just smoking a cigarette. We got Elliot in the middle just, like, having social anxiety. Akman Ra and Kenny. Kenny's just checking out Akman Ra's little cape thing. Then that guy with the towel covering him with, like, the crazy socks is Finn from Need for Speed, the one that I was talking about. And, yeah, that's Josh in the overalls. Those are just, like, the ones that I always spot, you know, because those are the ones that I watch the most. But, yeah, I also noticed that guy with the beard. I found him. Here he is. He has a twin brother named, oh man, I think it's Sami. Sami and Rami. That just makes more sense. But anyways, he just looks exactly like his twin brother, literally, just with the beard. Then I also, like, looked more into it, and he gets killed, like, immediately after the scene, and he had, like, an axe in his head. So, yeah, that was kind of scarring for life. But for his characters, Chi-Chi, the gorilla, is at the very last spot. He just has zero personality. I'm sorry. And you just can't really tell it's Rami Malek. It's just, this movie just has so much potential. It's disappointing. At number 17, I put Buster from Buster's Small Heart. He's just, I already kind of went over this. He's just kind of weird. It just makes no sense. Why would you leave your family just to follow this stupid conspiracy theory? And, like, I don't know. It just could have been done way better. But I think he's interesting. That's why he's above Chi-Chi, because at least he has a personality, you know? I love how I'm just dragging that movie. Then number 16, he doesn't deserve to be this low, I feel like. I don't know. I adore all the characters except for those two. I just adore all of them, so this is, like, good, you know? This is number 16 the best way possible. But Jim Baxter. That GIF just alone made me like him a whole lot more, because, like, what is he doing? Yeah, you can read that entire horse part at the side. I don't know. I don't want to do it again because it took so long, but yeah, Chloe Decker's been there, done that. And number 15, Benjamin. You don't really get to know more about him. You just know that he's kind of an outcast, you know, he's never really seen a lot of people. Probably because he's just so powerful. He's really an overpowered character. I mean, he did a lot. But, I mean, Rami Malek with red eyes. That's all I'm going to say. And I keep thinking that his name's Sebastian. Yeah, here's a clip I put. One of the most iconic scenes in television history.
That's what I'm talking about.
I just love Jacob's reaction. He's like, now that's what I'm talking about. Then he sits near Rami, and it's the cutest thing ever. They deserve to be best friends. But yeah, I was about to squeal whenever he had a line when I watched this movie. He would just, like, kind of chime in a little bit. He had, like, one, like, 5-second clip when he was just, like, the center of attention. Better than that, it was just like, he just talked a little bit. Then he split the earth at one point, so that was really cool. He's overpowered. He's really overpowered. They could have used him a lot in the movies. Yeah, Tano, I think it's Tano, from Legend of Korra. He's just a prime ENTP. A lot of ENTP Rami Malek characters. That's just powerful, like, just the voice and personality combined. It's just insane. And yeah, he just ended up, he was kind of like a bad person in the beginning. He was just like really manipulative and stuff. But then he got his bending taken away and he got humbled, and now he just plays the trumpet or whatever that is. Number 13, I put Webb Porter from Alcatraz. So yeah, I can explain his tragic backstory again. So basically, as a kid, his mom must have been like abusive or something. She tried to drown him. And when he talks about it, he's just like, oh yeah, all that I noticed was her hair while she was like pulling me under. So she tried to drown him in the bathtub. That's probably something I should mention. So he learns how to play the violin. Of course, he's a murderer, because that's like not a normal experience for a kid to go through. And so he like plays the violin. He shows up at this girl's house. It shows one of his victims. He shows up at this girl's house and he's like, hey, can I play this for you? She's like, yeah, sure, come inside. So he plays it. Then he like ends up, I don't know how he does it, but he like ties her down. Then he ends up like just drowning her in the bathtub. And then he takes this girl's hair and he puts it on his wand so he can play the violin. Because just like he focused on his mom's hair when he was drowning. Then like most of this episode is just about like him. He has this like ringing in his ears constantly. And then music is something that just helps him get rid of that ringing. So they get him to play the violin again. It's actually really cool. I can't remember how it ends, but it's really cool to just see. Number 12, Louis, I don't know. He has glasses. I don't really remember much about his character. Honestly, I think that he might be lower on the list. I just really like him. I don't know. I just really like glasses Rami. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a nudity shot. It was really weird. But other than that, he was a pretty solid character. I really liked him. He was just smart. And yeah. At 11, I put Kenny. I think, I don't know. It's so hard because I just feel like Kenny should be up higher. But at the same time, I don't know. The other characters are just so good. But yeah, I just added this video and I was not expecting it to hit so hard when I saw this. But like,
hey, you want to come over? I just got the new Kelly Clarkson CD.
You're so gay sometimes.
He was just kidding, right? He doesn't know. Does he?
I love how that guy says, you're so gay sometimes, while wearing a freaking blonde wig. It's just, and that is just me whenever Lucy just like makes a joke, you know. It's just like, oh, you don't actually, you're in serious right now, right? It's just, I love Kenny. He's just a good first role. It's kind of cool that Rami Malek played a gay character. Like, and it was like actually decent representation too. Like, you would never expect it from a sitcom, but it was actually really cool. Thank you, Rami Malek. Then Safin at number 10. This feels like such a rob. But he's a bad person in this. It's just not okay. It's not okay. I should not have been cheering for him the entire time. But yeah, he killed James Bond, which is insane because like no other villains have killed him. And he did die though at the end. And James Bond also like broke his arm, which was kind of bad. Like you never want to see like your favorite actor just like getting his arm broken, you know? But yeah, the movie's ending was so sad. I don't know. I felt so bad for these characters and I wasn't even paying attention to it. But he is really good though. Just stan him. And he's so hot in this. I just need to go. I was simping so hard for him last night. I'm sorry.
I'm designed to kill.
I don't care.
I've killed people before.
It does not matter.
real footage of me and Safin. I literally completely forgot what that even was though. So the first time I went through this, I was like, wait, what is that? And a Twilight scene popped up and I was like, oh crap, of course. Then at number 9, I put Snafu. His name stands for Situation Normal All Effed Up. I can't remember what his real name is. It's probably like some basic name. He has some of the most basic character names, honestly. I don't know why, but I say that and he has like freaking Achman Ra. That's an average name right there. Yeah, I almost forgot about this entire show, but I'm glad he put it. I was really simping over that GIF, dude. That GIF is hot, honestly. But yeah, I just really like his character. He just has a lot of character development. He just starts out as like this just immature guy, kind of pervy, and he just ends up being this gentleman, He just doesn't know much. I think it was really cool. It's just cool seeing him like as a war person. I don't know. It was kind of fun to see. Number 8, I put Finn from Need for Speed. That's the scene that I was talking about earlier. He's just standing in there in the elevator with that lady. Yeah, I'm just a huge Finn stan. I just really love his character. He just carries the movie, honestly. But, oh yeah, he also used to be at number 6, but he's at number 8 now. I just had to move him down because I just realized I love Steve DiBiase and, like, the other one. I forgot who else I put. Maybe Elliot, but, yeah. But yeah, he's like Steve DiBiase if Steve were manic and just, like, I don't know. Steve DiBiase is, like, more chill version of him. Oh yeah, Nate. This is Nate from Short Term 12. He's just such a good guy. He's just, like, a really chill character. He's a good guy. He tries his best with all these kids, It's not Rami's most interesting, but it's one of his best. Number 6, Steve DiBiase, I love you. I'm your biggest fan. I'll follow you until you love me. And he's just oddly relatable. Like, I never would have thought that I would have related to him in the future, but, like, I do now. Like, he's just trying his best. This was literally me in speech class. Yeah, he just helped me become who I am today. And I always do that freaking hand thing that he did. I knew that it was from something, and I thought it looked cool. I did not think it was from freaking Rami Malek. Of course it was.
Who are you?
Steve DiBiase. D-I-B-I-A-S-I.
He spells out his name. He's so cute. Yeah, he's a fun character to see in this movie. Like, it's a good movie. It's just more fun when you just see him in the background just, like, zoning the freak out while Larry Crown's just, like, talking about random crap during his speech, because that's just me. And I made all these GIFs. I made so many GIFs. Yeah, I watched this movie again barely, and I loved some parts. It's a love language. Shut up. Yeah, there's him just, like, doing some kung fu or something. I don't know. Then there's also him in, like, striped shorts. I just really... Dude, he's wearing the same shorts in all of these. Okay. Give Rami Malek the wardrobe he deserves. I'm sorry. Are those literally the same shorts? That's just sad. But, yeah, he got some pizza. Ran over there. Number 5, I put Elliot from Mr. Robot, of course. And the pipeline to be an Abed stan. Or maybe you would be an Abed stan, then you would watch this and then be like, oh, wow, that's good. But Abed's like a wholesome version of this guy. Abed's like a family-friendly version. But, yeah, if this were... Elliot, it just makes a lot of sense. They just seem, like, pretty connected. If Abed were a druggie, he would be like Elliot. And if he just didn't have, like, as big of an interest in TV. Because I feel like since he has, like, such a self-aware TV thing, he would never let this happen to himself. Yeah, Elliot's just really cool. He's just a really cool character. He's one of Rami's most interesting, like, just clearly. And this show just made me happy that I went to church. Like, I would literally watch the show and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for church. But just because I kind of wanted to, like, clear my eyes. Yeah, I was too young to watch it. I'm sure that I would be fine if I watched it now. I probably will. But he sure is fine. Get it? Awooga. That bottom picture. Oh my. Anyways. So, number 4, I put Joshua. And I have a lot to say for this one, so be prepared. So, I was, like, curious the other day, because I was, like, just checking out the MBTI thing, like I do sometimes. And I looked him up, and I found out he was an INFP, which was insane at first, because I was like, how is he an INFP? He does not act like one. But, then I realized he's been through a lot. Like, I feel like the things that happened to him would definitely, like, make him act the way he did. So what happened to him? So, at the very beginning of the game, you start playing as one of his twin sisters. I think her name is Beth, and there's Hannah, which is his other sister. Basically, Beth is just kind of chilling out in the kitchen. She's watching over Josh, because Josh is just, like, freaking passed out. He's just blacked out. And all their friends were just, like, planning this prank against Beth. Because Beth really likes, or not Beth, it's Hannah. Hannah really likes Mike. So they're like, oh, MMG, let's like write this fake note. We'll have him like come in this room. He'll be like, oh, Hannah, you should come in this room with me, you know, for obvious reasons. And then they all hide under the bed and they're like, oh, let's see what happens. And she actually goes in there and she takes her shirt off. And they're like, oh, Hannah, you got pranked. Mike doesn't actually like you. And then Hannah runs out into the forest. Beth chases after her. And they both end up falling off a cliff. And, like, they just presumably die because, you know, how would they survive? And so, yeah, that happens. So Rami, Josh calls all of his friends, like, literally a year later. And they're like, okay, let's meet up at the cabin again because, like, just, like, to honor them, you know? And he's there with these freaking people that literally killed his sisters. Like, you can clearly make the connection that it was their fault because Hannah would not have run out and they wouldn't have gotten chased by, you know, the monster. And if they weren't, like, you know, if they didn't go out there in the first place. So, yeah, I think Josh was just, like, traumatized, first of all, because his sisters are just gone suddenly. And obviously his parents weren't there a lot because they were not there in the preview or anything at all. So, yeah, he's just there. So I think then he just acts like this really pervy dude, you know? He just acts like an ENTP, basically. So it was just really interesting to see he's an INFP. Because, like, it just makes sense, you know? He's just trying to, like, act normal around these people. And he actually just ends up doing all that to prank them. Because, like, it's just, like, kind of, like, to get back at them for freaking killing his sisters. And you'll see more about that later. I don't really want to spoil a lot for you, but yeah. Yeah, it's just really sad, honestly. It's just really interesting to think about. He's a really interesting character. You don't really learn a lot about him because he isn't really a playable character, I don't think. Like, I don't think you really play as him. Maybe you do. I don't know, but just not for too long. But at number 2, I put Akman Ra. Akman Ra is just such a good character. He's just a cool guy. I don't know, he's just really unique, I think. And there's obvious sentimental reason. I mean, that top right picture is the first thing I saw of him, and that's just when I fell in love, really. I mean, look at him. That's just... But yeah, he's just... I don't know, he's just really cool. And honorable mention, Flip McVicker. He's in BoJack Horseman. I didn't really want to put BoJack Horseman in this because it's just, like, it's such a big TV show just for, like, this one character that was in it for, like, half a season. So I didn't really feel like it was fair, but Flip is a really cool character. He's very eccentric. He's just a director for the show that basically got BoJack, like, back on the track that just, like, led him to basically get canceled. But, yeah, it was really cool. He's a good guy. And number 1, we have Freddie Mercury. He has such an unfair advantage because he's, like, Freddie Mercury, you know. Like, I don't know. It's just... No fictional character could really beat Freddie Mercury, you know? But if Freddie Mercury were a fictional character and it was just, like, him, he would probably still be at the top just because he's just, like, a really cool character, you know? And he's a really cool person. And I don't know. This is a really good movie, you know? I just have, like, a lot of... I'm just attached to it. I mean, yeah, but just... I saw his back... Like, the very first scene, you just see him wake up. It's, like, the day of Live Aid. He just wakes up. He, like, sits up. He's shirtless. You can see his back. And I was like, oh, dude, that is a back right there. Like, I felt... I just knew immediately that he was about to be my next crush. But, yeah, in terms of fictional characters, Akman Ra or Josh or just, you know, the other people that were, like, really close up to the top might... take the cake, but Freddie Mercury. And I love you, Bohemian Rhapsody Freddie. You're awesome. And some random awards that I put, I just thought it was going to be fun because I felt kind of bad for, like, the ones that were, like, rated really low. So most hot villain assassin, of course. Most gay was Kenny. Most video gaming was Josh. Most gorilla was Chi-Chi. Most emo was Elliot. Most crushworthy was Steve. I just think that Steve is just, like, the gateway, you know. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I showed Paulina Steve, and they were literally like, no, Maggie. No, and then they came out as lesbian, like, a few weeks later, so it's like, okay, that's not very fair. But Most golden Achman Ra because he wears a lot of gold. Most hot mechanic Finn. He just fixes cars. And he's hot. It's like a really good... That's just kind of fun to imagine. I don't know. Also, like, Josh and Snafu. Just, like... I feel like they both just have, like, some stuff that led them up to just being, like, the guys that they end up being, you know? And then they just both end up being, like, just making these dirty jokes all the time. Most likely to be a couple. I just put Louie and Steve. I don't really know why. There's, like, no reason. I just like the opposites attract thing. I just feel like they would be a chill couple. I don't know. I don't know. Most relatable, Steve or Kenny. Just, I think I'm a combination of the two. Most husband material, Nate. He's just a chill dude, you know? He'd just be kind of fun to just have as your husband. I don't know. And then most like Rami, I would say Achman Ra. Achman Ra just like kind of views things from the side. You know, he does what he does when he needs to. I think from what I've seen of Rami Malek, that's just a lot like him. I don't know. And here are the gifs that I made when Bae kidnaps. His little spin that he does with this kid at the beginning cracks me up for some reason. And then we have this Until Dawn one where he's like, can't tie him up if they just wiggle around. Because, like, they're tying him up because this is after the prank that he did. They're mad at him, even though they literally killed his sisters. I'm sorry. This scene makes me mad. This one just makes me mad. You can have Mike hit him, and it's like, dude, my freaking dad did that. And I was like, oh, my God. I was so mad. And their smiles are identical. Like, look, this is what I was talking about. Look at that. Look at that. You have got to be kidding me. Look at their smile. Like, just take it. Just take it in. I saw that gif, and I was like, dude, that looks really familiar. Then I was like, oh, wait, that's the guy from Chicago Fire. Like, the one random character. So, yeah. I don't know. That just reminds... I think they're really similar in personality, too. Not gonna lie. And, yeah, thank you for letting me talk about Rami Malek. Rami Malek was probably the first person I actually knew I was interested in, like, ever, that I was, like, actually self-aware about. I don't know, it was just, like, the first time I was, like, genuinely attracted to someone. I don't know. Like, I really like Billie Eilish, but I didn't think it was in that way, because, you know, I was still in denial. But, yeah, so thank you for letting me talk about it. I've been holding this in for, like, 2 years now. Thank you. Love you, Sydney. I hope you feel at least a little less dislike for this hottie. And, yeah. Thank you for listening. Bye.